Hello, good evening, everyone. We're going to discuss the chapter 6 about the gender and work. And the learning objectives in this chapter is first is to specify the contributions of women in labor force. Second is give examples of successful women in the business. The third one is clarify the factors influencing women choice of work, occupation, or career. And then the fourth one is generate the effects of working women on the family, of orientation, and family of procreation. And then the last one, to assist the effects on society, women in the workplace.
Good day, everyone. Now let's talk about Chapter 6 Gender and Work. Traditional gender ideology emphasizes that men's sphere is work and women's sphere is the home. The implicit assumption is that men have greater power than women. This is commonly referred to as the patriarchal system because such traditional perspective tends to sway power towards men and women to be at service to such authority. Men fulfill their family roles through instrumental and breadwinning activities, while women fulfill their roles through nurturant, homemaker, and parenting activities. The 20th century saw a radical increase in the number of women participating in labor markets across early industrialized countries. Notably, growth in participation began at different points in time and proceeded at different rates. Nonetheless, the substantial and sustained increase in the labor force participation of women in rich countries remains a striking feature of economic and social change in the 20th century. The number of women in the workplace was highest in 2019. There were 79,457 and 808 women in the workforce, or a share of 47.4%. Only 32.2% of women were employed in the top 10 occupations, according to DOL 2020. According to WPC research, 85% of female millennials prefer working for companies with strong employer policies on diversity and workforce inclusion. However, 71% of them report that even though companies talk about diversity, the opportunities in the workplace aren't really equal. One research showed that companies with more women and stronger human capital policies have higher employee productivity rates, according to MSCL 2018. Even though 48% of women supported COVID 19's negative impact on their careers, almost 2 in 3 women who left the workforce plan to return to work. Moreover, 8 out of 10 women are considering jobs in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, according to MetLife 2021. 1 in 15 Asian women works in an entry level position, but only 1 in 50 Asian women is in the C suite, according to McKinsey and Company 2021. According to data by the International Labour Organization or ILO, employees in Togo, Nigeria, Jordan, Laos, and Burkina Faso were more likely to have a female boss between 2016 and 2020. The Philippines ranked 11th in the list of countries with the highest number of female workers in managerial positions by Statista. It was also one of the outliers as the highest ranked Asian countries, along with Laos. Data by the ILO showed that in 2016, 49.1% of the managerial positions in the Philippines was held by women. The figures continued to increase in 2017 and 2018 with 51.5% and 52.7%. In 2019, the percentage dipped slightly to 50.5%, but it started picking up again in 2020, which recorded 52% of managerial positions filled by women in the labor force. According to a separate Statista report published in March last year, the Philippines ranked fifth in the countries with the highest number of women in managerial roles. Now, let's talk about effects of women working on their family. First, mothers of young children, especially when they are gender only, in the organization face more challenges and difficulties at the workplace, according to McKinsey and Company 2021. Out of 23.9% of parents with children under 19 who have part-time jobs, 80.4 are women. Third, what happened in the mother's workplace and how their work interacted with their home life affected family relationships. Mothers and fathers thought that the mother's work had a positive impact on their family relationships. The mother's employment provided skills and resources that meant they could meet their children's emotional, developmental, and material needs better. Mothers had some problem switching off bad work feelings. Some who had to bring home who resented the time they spent on this. Some fathers felt their partner lacked time for being a couple and paying attention to their children. Family friendly policies were ineffective in helping the mothers to deal with their stresses of paid work, as they did not affect the gender division of labor in the mother's home.
So, egalitarian gender ideology. So, this ideology focuses on the humanist aspect of gender, being that both men and women are human beings and that their lives should be seen equally. Also, this view pushes an equalized view of men and women and blurs the line between gender roles. So, for example, men can cook while women can fight, or men can housekeep, or women can work physically challenging tasks. This ideology also proposes that power is distributed equally between men and women and that each group identifies equally with the identical sphere. So, it is also relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. Gender egalitarianism supports equal rights, roles, and responsibilities for men and women. It does not support the idea that there is women's work and men's work or gender specific roles in business and the home. So, in a society where there is gender egalitarianism, rather, in families, parents play equal parts within the family structure. Egalitarianism is the equal treatment of all in society regardless of gender, age, race, or belief. So, one example of a proponent of egalitarianism is Martin Luther King Jr., who advocated for civil rights in America. So, additional information about factors influencing women's choice of work, occupation, or career. So, let's start in influencing women's choice of work. So, women's work patterns have been changing radically over the past several decades. So, historically, women who work outside the home have been employed in traditionally female work roles. So, these jobs are typically in the low paying, low status, clerical, retail, and service sectors and are often labeled women's jobs. So, in comparison, male-dominated occupations are traditionally higher paying and higher status jobs than the female-intensive occupation and often labeled as men's job. Influencing women's choice of occupation, occupational choice is affected by four factors: psychological, social, economic, and cultural. So, an individual's job choice is molded by their family, morals, values, intelligence, abilities, finances, and many other factors. So, what are the two steps you should follow when choosing an occupation? So first, you can begin choosing a career by taking the following steps. Perform a self-assessment and identify your must-haves. So in influencing women's choice of career, the careers women are happiest in are entrepreneurship, IT, medicine, teaching human resources, psychology, interior design, and media. So, due to career opportunities, average salary, and overall career satisfaction. So, there are 7 important factors to consider when choosing a career. So, first, your passions and interests. Second, your desired salary. Third, education requirements. Fourth, work or life balance. Fifth, travel requirements. Sixth, opportunities for growth and development. And seventh, job market outlook.
Hi everyone, good day. So in this portion, we will be discussing about facts about gender equality. So it is said by scholars that gender equality is a multidimensional world of work which includes labor force participation, employment, firm, and farming. Therefore, Two gender at work characteristics: earnings and job quality. The latter is the hardest part to measure, depending on the given context. It is said that full-time wage employment is a strong predictor of subjective well-being, and jobs that provide higher earnings, benefits, rights, and opportunities like skill development are most likely to expand women's agency. At the age of 15 to 64 years old, women are more economically excluded than men, based on a global measure. Therefore, their labor force had declined from 57 to 55% and as low as 25% in the Middle East and North Africa. It was estimated that men have twice the chances of getting full-time jobs than women. In Southeast Asia, women had three times the chances of getting employed because of the evident gender-specific constraints in farming, entrepreneurship, and the like. In Ethiopia, 35% of the value output was from female-headed households, lower than male-headed households, resulting from unequal access to productive outputs. Whereas in Latin America and the Caribbean, half of the number of establishments was owned by women and have no employees compared to 35% of men. Female employees tend to have more concentrated work, yet are likely to be promoted of work because of work barriers. In addition to that, it is also said that women had the majority of unpaid care and housework, hence they generally earn less. According to statistics, 83 countries have shown that women are paid 10 to 30% less than men. Throughout the world, women are concentrated in the less productive jobs and sectors with fewer opportunities for career advancement. So, with regard on the idea about gender equality as multidimensional is still a paradox. A recent study in 2020 shows that women continue to face disproportionate barriers to fully contribute to and benefit from economic prosperity and rising living standards. With that, to attain fair and enough amount of opportunities from economic, social, and financial well-being, they still need to overcome these barriers. Scholars suggest that supporting women entrepreneurs, supervisors, managers, workforce, and consumers is an effective way to make them strong and visible in our society. Thus, will reduce poverty, increase gender equity, improve performance and financial growth among women's sector. Additionally, in the Philippines labor market, women still continue to experience the greatest disadvantages resulting from gender inequalities and ruthless discrimination in work. Their economic contributions are devalued. However, many strategies which have been developed to counter these issues, and these are the structures we would want to support and establish within our cultural pattern to empower women and achieve equality across all genders. Thank you.
So I'm going to tackle about the impact of gender on leadership. So there are two types of leadership. First is the masculine leadership, and then the second one is feminine leadership. So first is the masculine leadership. The masculine leaders is like to set goals and strive for them through traditional means. So they push for higher performance by every person in the organization. So promotions come to those who work long hours and give up their personal lives to further their careers. So imagine high-powered law firms and think of the drive that is expected to make partners. So a characteristic of masculine leaders are they practice transactional leadership style, more autocratic and less democratic, assertive, task-oriented, competitive, pessimistic, programmatic, self-contained, individualist, and persuasive. And then the second leaders is the feminine leader is not afraid to ask for others' opinions on what they think would be best or what they might like to do. So this style tends to listen to their intuition more and not to make decisions entirely on facts. So they like to let other variables come into play. So they listen to what their team says and generally allow the decisions to be more of a consensus. So a characteristic of feminine leaders are they more practices transactional leadership style, more autocratic and less democratic, flexible, people-oriented, cooperative, optimistic, perfectionistic, expressive, collectivist, and consensual. So, women in the labor force, women are less likely to work for income or actively seek work. So, the global labor force participation rate for women is just over 50% compared to 80% for men. So, women are less likely to work in formal employment and have fewer opportunities for business expansion or career progression. So, when women do work, they earn less. So, women's labor market activity makes women and girls more economically vulnerable to their families and to society. So, while women's labor force participation rates have risen in many countries, rates remain quite low in some countries and regions. So, women in business. Women are great leaders due to their ability to dream big, challenges, assumptions, and inspire teams. So women have different perspectives, no, and skills than men. So leading to different opinions, preferences, and strategies. So there are advantages in business. So first is men and women will inevitably have different experiences and backgrounds which shape their approach to business. Second is soft skills and emotional intelligence may prove a key competitive advantage for women in business. So these competencies include self-awareness, empathy, and conflict. And then the third one is with the power of the female consumer mind, it's evident that women are best placed to tap into that opportunity and bring valuable consumer insight to the table. So the challenges for women in the business, first is it's important to feel empowered to gain the skills and embrace the opportunities afforded by a career. And then the second is the women who are in or want to position themselves for leadership roles often feel they come under particular scrutiny. And then the last one is it also revealed that women did try to negotiate their starting salary. The outcome was generally less favorable. So, and then the last one is the opportunities for women in business. First is for many forward-thinking organizations, gender equality is becoming a matter of policy. And then the second one is entrepreneurship presents a path for women to close the pay gap and rise to leadership positions. And then the last one is to stand out in a competitive job market. Many women hone the knowledge and expertise they need through a business degree. That will be all. Thank you.